College was sold to us as the golden ticket. Get a good degree that buys us a good job and we get paid well. And by the age of 65 plus, then we're retired. But for millennials and Gen Z, unfortunately, that came with a lifetime worth of debt. Student loans aren't just a mistake. They're a hustle, a system designed to keep us trapped forever. Today, we're breaking down how the education system works, the trap behind student loans, and alternatives that no one talks about. Now let's start off with the rising cost of education. 30 years ago, the average annual tuition cost for a public university was around $4,000. Today, it's over $10,000, and that's tuition alone. Private schools, forget it. It's between the ranges of $40,000 to $60,000 a year. I don't know about you, but that is crazy. And the thing is wages haven't even been keeping up. In the last 20 years, tuition has rose over 200%, and then wages barely 60%. The math does not lie, but the system was never helping us to keep up anyway. Now we're pivoting to how student loans became the norm. Banks, private lenders, and even the government has made it entirely too easy to get access to student loans. As long as you have a heartbeat and you want education, it's easier than ever. High schoolers are getting pressure to sign decades worth of student debt when they don't even realize what they're signing for. And honestly, I was a big victim of that. Being a first generational college student, I fell into that same trap. And chances are you have too. And the pitch, it's an investment into your future. You'll see things like glossy ads and then graduates tossing up their caps in the air at graduation time. But what they don't show you is the 30-year payment plan that comes right after graduation. Here's what they don't tell you. That average interest rate of 6% that's on our student loans, it compounds over time. And then that $20,000 that you have worth of student loans, it quietly compounds into $40,000 before you know it. And we're not even getting started on the deferments and grace periods, because that's just their way of stretching out your student loan payments so that they earn interest more over time. That's why you'll realize that after that deferment and grace period time frame, you'll see your payments being a little bit higher. And if you've ever deferred your student loans before, you'll hear it over the phone that they read you that disclaimer. But they hire big dog attorney firms to make sure the fine print is signed and sealed. That way, if you don't pay it, they'll have a strong case. But if you miss one payment, them fees will start piling on, and those fees are not cheap either. I've even heard stories of $15,000 worth of student loans turning into $70,000 over time once they were done with their education. That's not an investment into anyone's education. That's extraction. The promise versus the reality. The system sold us a dream of a degree guaranteeing success. But the only guarantee that graduates have is having $80,000 worth of student debt while making $40,000 a year right after graduation. And that's not even counting the degrees that translate into stable careers either. Millennials and Gen Z are flooding to the gig economy. Not because they want flexibility, but because the job market has broken their promises. And for context, examples of gig economy jobs include DoorDash or Uber Eats. So look, if you're a Gen Z, millennial, or know someone that's struggling with debt, let's go ahead and lock in with a like and subscribe. Because when you join us at Money Talks Media, you'll continue to get these power plays that's hidden behind the curtains. Also, check out our website at mtmediaco.com and check out our tools of how you can get out of debt. Those are power plays you'll never regret investing in yourself for. All right, let's go ahead and jump right back in. The impact on wealth building. This is where the education hustle really hits home. Student debt delays everything. And y'all already know my story. With having over $200,000 worth of student debt, this hits me hard. And it wasn't because I was reckless. It's because I'm first generational college student that went into the system blindly. But if that was the case, then I never would have started Money Talks Media. So maybe it's a good thing. But regardless, student debt delays everything. Think of starting a family or buying a home or even investing early. Think about it this way. If you have one 30-year-old that has $0 worth of student debt, but then you have another 30-year-old that has over $80,000 worth of it, then that's a big difference. The debt-free person can save, build, and invest. And also the debt-free person can take more risk in their lives. But the other is stuck trying to dig themselves out of a hole. Just for context into my life, I pay over $1,000 a month in student loan payments. And by the way, that's between private and federal loans, and that's the the lowest payment possible. It's not just numbers for me and other student debt owners. It's mental health, anxiety, depression, and sometimes hopelessness. And I'm not speaking about myself or anyone else, I'm just speaking general across the world. Carrying debt that you can't escape feels like a heavy weight that's chained to your ankle. Alternatives to the debt cycle. Here's the part that schools don't talk about, but there are alternatives. Trade schools and certifications, those are skills that don't cost you six figures. Online learning platforms, that's where you can get the same information for a fraction of the cost. Self-education, skill-based learning is on the rise. More companies care about what you can do versus where you studied. Now, I will say it is harder to get a high-paying job in a career that you want without having that formal education. Now, there are success stories of people that did not go the traditional route that are having high-paying careers without carrying student debt. But I will say those are more rare occasions. I'm just pointing out the facts because that is reality. And full disclaimer, I'm not saying that there is no benefit to formal education. I'm just talking in the context of student debt. But I also encourage you, if you do have student debt, then lean into the universities you went to, try to maximize what you paid for and get involved. Because by staying involved with your schools, there are doors that can open up for you that you never really even seen coming. And just because I stayed locked in with my universities, I got invited to speak at a commencement. And by owning that credibility and speaking in front of 4,000 to 5,000 people plus, that has already opened doors that I couldn't even imagine. Now, I will say, just because you get involved with your school does not mean you'll speak at a commencement. I'm just painting that example. The future of student debt. So I know what you're thinking. What now? Debt forgiveness gets thrown around every single election cycle. And even today, it still gets debated. Some are looking at income share agreements or alternative finance models. The question is, will Gen Z and millennials be the last generation to suffer through this cycle? Or will Gen Alpha officially break free? Now let's wrap this up with the key takeaways. The truth is, the education hustle is one of the largest wealth traps ever created. But the moment you see it for what it is, that's when you can get your power back. College in itself is not bad, but the trap behind it and the broken promises is. So here's my challenge. Don't just buy into the system because everyone tells you to do so. Start asking, what skills do I need? What are the smartest moves that I can make? And then what is the most affordable way I can get this? If it's schools, certifications, or starting your business, just figure out what that is. Because the real wealth does not come from a degree. It's the knowledge, discipline, and courage to break free from the hustle. You can do this. Continue to educate yourself. But take care, and I'll see you in the next one.